God be the glory, great things He has done. He has brought us safely through another year to see the beginning of another year. He has blessed me to see 80 years and counting. Thanks be to God. And our youths and other oncoming generations will recognize the fact that God is still on the throne. He's there for His own. He wants us to stay connected and be connected. And only as we do this, we recognize. The recent loss of my relatives tells that Jesus' coming is near. Death is no respect of persons. I remember the little story my father was told. I was told when my father died, that even though that be your godfather, yet you can't fool him. And this guy was told that when he got a baby boy, he was looking for a godfather. And he went to a certain guy, he said, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm the devil." He said, "I don't want you. You allow too many wicked things to happen in this world." He went to the next guy, he said, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm God." He said, "You allow too many wicked things to happen." He went to the next guy, he said, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm death." He said, "I will give you a chance because whether you're bad or whether you're good, you're a fair guy." However, when the boy grew up and became a doctor, his godfather came to him and said, "Son, if you see me at any time when you go to the sick person and you see me at the foot or the head, you must know that you either can't help or I give you a little medicine, the person can drink this and live. But if you see at the tail, you can't really do nothing." So he went, the guy had the king daughter was very sick and people couldn't help her, the doctors couldn't help. And when he got there, he saw the godfather that where he says that he can't help. So the guy thought for a while, and he looked at the bottle, he looked at the girl, and he thought of himself being the godfather of that. And he swung the bed around, head to tail, and threw some medicine down the girl's throat, and she lived. And the guy called, the godfather called him and said, "Boy, you played a trick on me." He said, "Godfather, when I think that this is the chance of my life to get a wife, and I'm getting so much, I know you're going to understand, you're going to forgive me." He says, "Okay, boy, don't try it again." And it so happened this time, the thing happened again, and it says the king would give the other half of the kingdom to this guy, to whoever, and it went again, and it happened, he spun the bed head to tail again. He gave the girl the medication, she lived, and the godfather said, "Boy, you played a trick to me twice." He said, "Godfather, look, you know that I'm your godson, and you know that what will happen to me when I get the kingdom, you'll be a happy godfather." He said, "Come, I show you. I want to show you something." He took him downstairs and showed him a lot of candles with different lights. He said, "Those tall candles with bright lights represent young people with long lives to live. Those with long candles and short and flickering represent the person young, but he may die anytime. And the short candles with bright lights show that the young old person will die a longer life, he will live a longer life. And the short candles with flickering light shows that anytime the old person will die." He says, "Godfather, could you show me my candle?" And he saw his candle, a bright candle, a long candle, but the light flickering. He said, "Oh, Godfather, look, my light will out anytime. Light it up." And when you go to light it, you know what happened? It out. And that was the end of his. To show death, you can't cheat death. So in this life, God is in control. And the little story gives us an idea. We can't fool death, nor can we fool God. God knows everything about us. And He loves us, that He desires that none should perish, but all should come to have everlasting life. That was just a little story told by somebody to give me a little ups about when my father died, a little understanding about what life is like. But it's more important because when we come to know Jesus, He is the way, the truth, and the life. When Jesus says, no man can come unto the Father but by me. I am the door. I am the way. No man can come. Anybody try to enter in other than at the gate is a thief and a brigand. And we got to learn to enter in the sheepfold through the gate. And the sheep, the Lord knows his sheep. He says, many sheep are of other fold that I have, but they know my voice. And they will hear when it says, come out of her, my people, and be separated and touch not the unclean thing. At the point of death, when death comes, the persons, we are told in the scripture in the book of Ezekiel, Ecclesiastes, that our thoughts perish in the very day that we die. And we do not know a thing. We shall sleep until the Lord comes. And when he comes, those who are with him, even though they die and they're buried, they will rise again when Jesus comes. And there we are told in 2 Thessalonians 4:16, I think it is second or first, 4:16, the dead in Christ shall rise, and the sound of the trumpet when Jesus comes. And he says that when he comes, Jesus himself says, for as the lightning shineth from the east unto the west, even so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Everybody will hear his voice, even those who kill him. Crucify him, he will raise them up again, so that they would see him. And when he comes, at the brightness of his coming, many who didn't believe, they will run to the rocks crying, fall on us. They will die eventually, until when Jesus comes again at the second resurrection. It's better to be in the first resurrection. For the second resurrection, they will go on to damnation. May God help us and bless us to make our calling and election sure. These mercies I humbly beseech you, my brethren, to live for Jesus. And the people are waiting in the grave until Jesus comes. We hear so many things about this body went to heaven and that body gone to hell. If the dead went to, when you die and live a good life, you're going to heaven. What's the point of Jesus coming? Because the person's living a good life would have already gone to heaven. But he says, look at Lazarus. The only man who could have told us something is when Lazarus died. When he died, what did he say? Jesus says, Lazarus, come forth. He didn't say, Lazarus, come down. To show that he was still in the grave. And after 3 days, he called him forth. May God help us to recognize his word and pray that the Spirit will lead us into all truth, that we will make our calling and election sure. God bless you all, my brethren. Stay connected, be connected, and the Spirit of God will lead us into all truth. The truths are there found in the scriptures. We got to feed our mind with it, so that the mind of Christ will be resident in our thoughts, words, and deeds, to project the imagery of love to a dark and sinful world. Even though we die, yet shall we live again when Jesus comes at the second resurrection. God bless the first resurrection.